Yo guys, welcome back to the channel. Good video today. Just got back from a session, just got to put the boat away, but something special happened out there, and it wasn't just about this morning sessions, about what I learnt last week that actually helped me put this fish in the boat. So I'm going to jump in the boat, sit down, show you what went down and explain it all. Let's go. Oh, good fish. Righto guys, so just got back from a pretty sweet session this morning. I'll try and take you back a few weeks. I've been working on this location pretty hard, but haven't really been producing the goods, but I have been seeing a lot of fish on the sounder and I've been getting really good signs. There's this one particular point that I've been fishing that's got a real nice weedy edge to it. And it drops off to about 5 metres. So I've been sitting in 5 metres the last few weeks and working it pretty hard with chatterbaits and spinnerbaits, some swim baits, but mainly chatterbaits. Then last week I was out there. I actually haven't pulled a fish off this point yet, but all the signs have been good. I've been seeing first light. There's been a lot of bait on the surface jumping around, which is generally a really good sign, and there has been a fair few fish rolling through under the boat on me sounder. So I've just running the traditional sonar, and there's some big cod starting to roll through there. So I knew the fish were there, the bait was there, everything was good, but just haven't been able to stick one yet. Until last week, I was out there and actually thought I'd run a Jakko through it. So I was running a Jakko, but what I had was a ½ ounce chin weight on it, so it was had a relatively quick sink rate for the depth of water I was fishing. And what we're doing is we're punching it right up as shallow as we could and trying not to get hooked on the weed, and then bringing it back out to the 5 metres we were sitting in. Now I was with Cuz, and this one particular cast, it was right on first light. There was bait sort of jumping around all over the place. The signs are really good, and I was saying to him, we've got to get something here because everything looks right. We had fish rolling through under us, the bait was jumping, but it had been the same the last few times I was there, and I think I had one hit prior. Anyway, casted Megabass out, and I actually on the drop I'd casted it too far, and the weeds actually just under the surface of the water, and if you actually cast too far with a chin weight, you're straight into it. So, but then it does drop off quite quickly, and the weed sort of stops, and that's where we thought the fish would be working along that edge. Anyway, Gania too far up, picked up weed straight away, so I just started burning it back as quick as I could to the boat, just to get that weed off. I was reeling it that quick. The lure was on the surface of the water, and I stopped it. I think I must have been picking my nose or something, but I actually stopped as the lure was on the surface, went to pick my nose or whatever I was doing, and boof, on the surface. This cod, what I reckon was a good fish, actually blew up, hit it as it was on the surface. Now, that got me thinking. I haven't had that happen before. I was winding that lure that quick. I couldn't wind it any quicker back, and it was for a good 15 metres before I actually stopped it to do whatever I was doing, and then it attacked it as soon as it paused on the surface. So I missed the fish, which was disappointing at the time, but it got me really thinking. And the last week I've just been thinking, like, righto, that's a sign, and you got to learn from that sign. So I had full intentions of going back out this morning. I picked this morning as a prime bite time because it was sun up. It was basically the full moon tonight. So what that means is it was moon set right on first light this morning. So what I consider a prime bite time. So I was always going to make the effort to get back out there this morning. Now, taking away from what I learnt from that one encounter last week, I thought I had to change something up because I was using the chatterbaits and even the swim baits I was fishing them down towards the bottom and sort of bringing them back and tapering my retrieve down to that 5 metres we were sitting in. Now, what that fish told me is those fish weren't sitting down there. Although I had them rolling through under the boat on the sounder, the fish that were actually actively eating were right up in that shallow stuff and chasing the bait. Hence why there was so much bait bubbling on the surface, because those big cod were up there chasing it. So what did I do? First thing I did was swap from a half ounce Bassman mumbler to a half ounce. So that allowed me to fish that a lot shallower, but probably still not shallow enough. So I rigged one rod up with that, and the other rod I rigged up with this small size Megabass Vatalion. So I think they're 130 mil. Now, I've had two of these for about a year now, and I don't think I've really used them at all. I've gave maybe 1 or 2 runs just to see how they swim. And originally, my thoughts were with this lure, you'd want to get a bit of weight on it, so it basically sits just under the surface. So I like to normally fish a bit deeper, so chin weighting them, well, you couldn't really chin weight them, but I'd actually attach like a little 1/4 ounce to that where that first treble goes, and it actually lost a bit of action on the lure, so I pretty much put it in the back in the box and haven't pulled them out. So it wasn't until what happened last week that made me think, righto, this looks like it's like the same size bait as what's been bubbling on the surface, which is a key thing, because this is not a very big swim bait. Like it's only small. If I get this one out here, this is its bigger brother. That's the 190 Vatalion. Just the size difference ridiculous. But the bait that we've seen on the surface was about that size. So that was the first thing. And the second, the key thing, was the fact that with no weight on it, just some upgraded trebles, that lure sits about 50 centimeters under the surface, which is just perfect for what I wanted to replicate. So first thing this morning, went out, had about 5 casts with the half ounce Bassman mumbler, and thought, nah, I'll give this a whirl, because the bait was bubbling again, all the signs were good. I was on me Pat Malone. Anyway, I'll roll the footage and you can see what happened.
Oh. Yep. Oh, good fish. Oh, good fish. Oh, yep. Try and play him out by myself, obviously. Boom, chakalaka. How good's that? Very close to a metre fish. Yes. Look at that, baby. Very close to a metre. Yes.
How good's this? How good? 107. Oh. Man, so stoked. I knew this fish was up here. Oh man, it's such a good fish. Didn't think he was going to go that big, but yeah, 107. Got a quick snap. I don't know if they're any good, but main thing is getting this big girl back in the water. Such a beautiful big cod. Woo, pumped. There she is, 107. Been working really hard for this fish the last few weeks. Been really tough. Missed a cracker here the other day on this spot about a week ago, and that's what gave me the confidence to come back here, try a new lure that was really close to the surface. I'll give you a look at that after we see this big girl off, but
So pumped, man. This is what you work hard for. All those casts. Haven't caught a big fish for a long time. That just makes it all worth it. That's why the feeling's so good. Such a beautiful big fish. Alright, big girl, time to go. She's biting down. How good is that?
So there you go, guys. That was, 107. Very, very special fish. I've been working really hard for that over the last sort of month, putting in a lot of time on the water and just trying to locate the fish and put patterns together. I had a good run winter last year, but this season's been pretty tough. I've only caught one fish over the metre so far this season. That's my second. But yeah, it's been tough, but it just goes to show, I think, how important it is to learn things on the water. I could have, that fish last week was just happened by chance that I was cranking my Gantia back at full pace and it hit me on the surface because I thought I had weed on the lure. But I could have just let that go and thought nothing of it and just kept plugging away with what I was doing, but I didn't. I changed it up, went back to the drawing board, thought, righto, I need to change my approach here because obviously the fish are up there chasing that bait. Thought about the size of the bait, which is pretty key, so I went with the smaller swim bait. Could have went with something like even a gantrel or even bigger gigantrel, the bigger Vatalion, any swim bait. This is one of the smaller swim baits on the market, and it just replicated the bait that was on the surface so well. So, maybe I could have got him on a bigger swim bait, but yeah, it's just matching the hatch really well, basically. So, and the other thing is this lure just sat under the surface just perfectly, and with all that bait boiling on the surface, now like it's obvious that those cod are under there just smashing them, just going berserk, and yeah, pretty pumped. Just goes to show, just try and learn every time you go out on the water. I try to tell everyone that, every time you go out, it doesn't matter if you catch something or not, always try and pick something up, like I did last week. And yeah, once you put it all together, the fish will come in the boat. That if I didn't change that up, I wouldn't have caught that fish this morning. So yeah, absolutely stoked with it. A lot of hard work goes into them. So when a fish of that size comes in the boat, there really is no better feeling for me. Basically after that, put this one away because it's going to be retired. I do that with all my metre lures. All my lures that catch metre plus fish, they get to go on the wall of fame. So this guy will be getting hung up. And by the time I'd messed around, sort of getting a photo with the fish, got the fish back, sat down to sort of collect myself because pretty special moment, and shaking and going like crazy. The light had come up a fair bit, and that bait had stopped bubbling on the surface. So I actually went to that 1/2 ounce chatterbait and did pick up one other small fish for the morning. So I'll show you that.
Mini goodoo. Little fella. I believe in felt the hit on that one. Just choked that bassman chatterbait. It's right down there. Swallowed it, didn't even feel the hit. See you, little man.